So my good people, the year was 2016, and I remember I had this very bad habit of creating fake Facebook accounts and using them to DM any lady that looked good. So make no mistake, I had been married for 9 years, but sadly for me, I began finding my wife Tina very unattractive, especially after the birth of our third child. So the romantic aspect of our marriage had completely gotten lost, and conversations between I and my wife Tina were revolving around either the school fees for the kids, or we talk about the huge loans that we were servicing at the time, or we used to talk perhaps about, how hard the economy was. Our bedroom life had completely gotten off the hook. My wife had gained weight, she had left working out, she became very big, and I completely lost romantic interest in her. So once in a while I would, create Facebook profiles, of course with fake names, fake pictures, and flirt with these young online girls. I found it therapeutic, especially when these girls would tell me how they found me handsome and cute and all that shebang. I think it really boosted my manly ego, and I found it very therapeutic. So make no mistake again, I really felt guilty doing this to my wife. I felt guilty doing this to my kids. But then what would I have done? I was a young man with a hot blood, so it went on for quite some time. I remember Tinder and Messenger were my marketplace. That is where I would browse for these young girls and engage them on their DMs on how good they looked. I also want to tell you, my good people, at this point in time, it never went beyond flirting. I made no particular attempt to meet these people. It was just online chatting, flirting, here and there, and that was it. So I remember very well on this particular day, I bumped on a profile on Facebook of a very young Muslim lady. That girl was goals. She was very beautiful. She was having a lot of vibes in regard to whatever she was posting. And being the man that I am, I rushed to her DMs, and I remember professing religiously on how good she looked, and if we could, converse, talk about things, and the usual charade of online flirting. And I remember this lady was having pure energies. She seemed very intelligent. She had a very interesting perspective about life. She was so easy to talk to. And I remember very well, I got so much hooked to speaking with her. And my wife, Tina, didn't bother. She didn't question the very many hours that I was spending on my phone. Nothing. So I continued engaging this particular lady, the Muslim lady. We spoke, we enjoyed each other's online company, and I must say, she made me feel young again. She made me feel wanted. The kind of online company I was receiving from this particular lady was completely out of this world, my good people. I remember at one point during our late night conversations, I used to sit at the sitting room, chat with her. Once we had wished each other good night, I would switch off my phone, then, head to the bedroom to join my wife, Tina. So I remember this particular, we were having a very late night chat around 10, and she asked me whether either I was in a relationship or whether I was in marriage. My good people, you can imagine the speed to which I said no to her question. I told her I was terribly single, and I loved the kind of chemistry that we were building up, and that those kinds of charades. At this particular point, my good people, I decided to throw caution to the air, and I requested for a date. I told her that indeed I had enjoyed speaking to her, and if she was single and ready to mingle, then I wouldn't mind having an evening date with her. So she was easy. She said, why not? I mean, she also found me interesting according to her own submissions, and we agreed that after that week, on that particular weekend, we would organize for a dinner date and continue with the conversation one-on-one. And who knows, maybe a romantic spark would be initiated. Make no mistake, I had the guilt, yes, but again, there was very little I could do. I was really, really smitten by this young Muslim lady, and the entire prospect that I was about to meet with her would surmount to cheating on my wife, Tina. But this lady had given me the perfect energy that I was craving from a woman, and therefore I said, yeah, let's meet and see how it all goes. So for very obvious reasons, I said I was not going to have this particular date with this lady within Nairobi town, because I did not want people seeing me at a restaurant with a woman who was not my wife, Tina. So for very obvious reasons, I requested the Muslim lady so that we could do our date in Naivasha, completely out of town. Again, she was very game with it, she was cool with it, and it was a plan. So I called my guy, a plug of mine at one of the resorts in Naivasha. I told him, yo, this particular weekend, I'm gonna be coming in. I want you to do for me a very classy and exquisite dinner setup, because then I was coming to meet somebody and I wanted to impress. There was no way whatsoever that I was going to take second chances in making first impressions. So the guy was game. I sent him some little money, and he said that on that particular day, which was going to be on a Friday, by the time I get to their resort, everything was going to be perfect and meticulously planned. So I remember telling my wife, Tina, that a childhood friend of mine by the name Ken had been hospitalized in Naivasha, and he needed me to go and see him and be with him, and make sure that he got the kind of treatment that was befitting him. So once again, my wife Tina was like, there's no problem, do you, man, you go see your friend, and while at it, take care of yourself, stay safe. So I basically would have been gone for 3 days. That was on a Friday, Saturday, and definitely be back to Nairobi on a Sunday. So again, she was cool with that. So I remember fast forward the week, went through well, and kaboom, we got to Friday. I remember we had made arrangements that I was supposed to get to the resort in Naivasha earlier than her. Again, for obvious reasons, because I didn't want people seeing us walking into that particular resort together. So the plan was that I supposed I could get to that resort at around 4:30 in the afternoon, and then 1.5 hours later, that's around 6-ish, she would then come in, and then we kick off a pleasant evening of 2 online lovebirds. I remember on Friday I left work at around 2 the afternoon. I went home, dressed, changed, bid my wife Tina bye, and I hit the road towards Naivasha. I got to that particular resort where our reservations had been made. I connected with my plug who was doing the arrangements for me, and my good people, the kind of dinner setup dinner date setup that my guy had made was meticulously done. It was fancy, classy, and everything goals. I knew perfectly well at that particular point that if this Muslim lady would see the kind of hustle, the kind of extent I had gone to impress, definitely I was going to, you know, score some good points. I was forever grateful for this plug of mine for that particular job he had done. Again, I remember very well, I also reserved a room, a hotel room within that particular resort that I was going to stay with the lady for that particular night. Again, make no mistake, I felt so guilty for this particular thing that I was going to do. I don't know where you're watching this video from. It could be within Kenya, where I am right now, in Africa, or it could be outside our continent. Again, I don't know. But I hope that polygamy in your country is legal. So I'd already, you know, started entertaining the thoughts of marrying this girl as a second wife and all blah, blah, blah of it. So don't judge. I was a man with hot blood. So I got to that particular place. I took my seat. I ordered a bottle of wine, fairly pricey though, and decided to, you know, take some little wine as I wait for my date for the day. 1 hour, no text, no call. 2 hours, no text, no call. At the third hour, I got a little bit now concerned. Where was my date? I don't want to say traffic, because then in Naivasha, there's no traffic compared to here in Nairobi. The traffic can really get crazy. So I also didn't want to pull disparate moves like, you know, calling or texting, yo, where are you? Mbonu Jafika, are you stuck somewhere? Or perhaps her car had broken down, because then as the arrangement was, she was going to drive herself to that particular place. So I really got concerned, I got uncomfortable, and she stood me up. So the bottle of wine that I was taking as I wait for her had finished. And just as I was about to order another one and continue waiting, I felt a soft feminine touch on my shoulder, and that particular person told me that, hey Socrates, I'm very sorry, I have delayed kidogo, I got a situation back. So I was like, oh, she's here. So I turned to, you know, see my date for the very first time, one-on-one. My good people, that is the time I came face to face with my wife, Tina. She was putting on a black buibui, and apparently, all along, I had been talking to my wife, Tina, who also was using a fake Facebook profile to hold all these conversations with me.